Okay, welcome to our second virtual monthly meeting. We've got a big show for you today. We're going to be talking about both iPhones and Android phones. So if you watch the video we showed, I don't know whether you feel you're an Android phone or an iPhone, but maybe today's presentation will help you decide. So as always, we always start off our meetings with a financial report, and we talk about our membership and computer club matters and a little bit about the classes we've been offering, which have been virtual these days. Something about our Sun City community matters. And then we've got two presentations. David Good will be doing a presentation on iOS14, the new operating system for the iPhone. And then I'll be coming at you with Android 11, the new features for the Android phone. Financial matters, well, our treasurer's report shows that there really hasn't been too much change since last month, so I don't think we need to go over it too much. You can see it on your screen. And we're pretty much the same as we were last month. And the same with our membership. We've waived our membership dues for the next year, and we are still serving you with virtual meetings over Zoom. We've got a virtual lab that runs every Monday morning, and we've been doing virtual classes. We have these meetings that we're doing, the monthly presentations we're doing on the second Thursday of each month. So this is the second Thursday of November. The next one will be on Thursday, December the 10th. And then after that on Thursday, January 14th, and so on. And eventually we'll be coming live to you again. And we have our lab operating on Monday mornings. All you have to do is take the link that we send out to you when you, if you have a question, just shoot me an email as to what your problem or question is, and I shoot you back a link to the lab, and then you can come on the lab, and we've been able to help everybody who's been on there in solving their problems. So just check our newsletter and the emails for all of the announcements and class schedules we send you. We also have a photography group that meets on the first Wednesday of the month at 7 o'clock, and we've been doing those meetings virtually as well. Training, we had several classes going, and we have one more this month. Yeah, Ralph, did you want to talk about that?
Yeah, Sheldon, really quickly. This is going to be a class that is going to talk about some of the changes that has been done by Microsoft on Windows 10. It's been out a little over 5 years now, and every time you get an update, especially a big one, you wonder, well, what did they change, or what's it going to do to my computer? So Will's going to cover that next Wednesday at 6:30 at night. I want you to know too, we really had some good attendance at our classes. We had as high as 55 people one time at a class, and it's not uncommon to be between 20 and 30 for most of the classes. And as you well know, the lab only holds, I think, 44. So we've been able to get as many as would fill the lab on Zoom without anybody, I guess, having a problem being too close with these pandemic times. But we won't have any classes in December, but I'm planning to do additional virtual classes starting in January. I just got to get some of my teachers feeling comfortable with Zoom. I know we had a class and went over how easy it was to use, and hopefully we'll have some additional classes. You know, I like to have maybe 3 a month once we start into January. And we appreciate you coming to the classes, and hope you have a good Thanksgiving and a Merry Christmas.
Okay, thanks, Ralph. And yeah, definitely have a happy Thanksgiving. This is a cute little virtual Thanksgiving, which many of us are going to be having this year. This one's a pretty big tablet or screen that they've got in front of the turkey there. but whatever works. So whatever works for you. Yeah, certainly you can use Zoom or some other program and share your virtual Thanksgiving with your friends and family. So we certainly want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. As far as community matters go, the Sun City is going to have a budget meeting. Actually, that's this evening. This evening at 6 o'clock. It's done over Zoom, but it's live streamed on YouTube, and you can get the link to that on the Sun City website. And then the next Sun City board meeting will be on Wednesday, December the 9th at 9 a.m. And that also is live streamed onto YouTube, and the links to that are on the Sun City website as well. So this morning, our feature presentation is going to be on iOS 14 and Android 11. And we're going to start first with iOS 14. And David Good, our Vice President of the Computer Club, will be doing the iOS 14 presentation. And then I'll be coming back to you with the Android 11 portion. So we'll take it over to David Good. Yeah, Dave, just share your screen.
I'm working on it. Good morning. Can you hear me all right, Shelley?
Yeah.
All right. Welcome. Good morning, and welcome to an introduction to iOS 14 and iPadOS 14. Now, Apple launched iOS 14 a couple of weeks ago, and since then, several updates have been announced. As of today, we are on version 14.2. This is what I'm presenting today. First of all, what iPhones and iPads can actually use iOS 14. Putting it on your phone or your tablet, some new features in 14, and where you can get more information. What I'm presenting, with two exceptions, will apply to the iPad as well as the iPhone. The first question, will it work on my phone or my tablet? Well, here is a list of supported iPhones. Basically, anything newer than an iPhone 5 can use iOS 14. And here is a list of supported tablets. Now, if you don't know what model you have, how do you find out? Well, here are the basic steps. You click on the setup icon, which is on the left-hand screen, and then the general icon, which is on the right-hand screen. The top of the next screen, there is the About word, and you click on that, and on the right-hand screen, you will see your model name, model number, and the serial number. Once you've determined that your model iPhone or iPad can use iOS 14, then you need to put it on your device, and here's how. You click on Setup again and General again. Then on this settings page on the left, you click on Software Update. The current version of the iOS will be on the next page on the right. You click the Download and Install statement, and the process begins. Strongly suggest that you have your device plugged in, since the process seems to take a lot of power. Also allow for 30+ minutes for the installation to be completed. Now, here are a few new things in iOS 14. The first is exposure notification, which is very timely at this stage. To set it up, click on Settings, that thing in the circle on the left screen, and then General again, and then Exposure Notifications as seen on the right screen. On the next page, click on Turn on Exposure Notifications, and on the next page on the right, click Continue. Obviously, on the next page, you select United States and then Illinois, and then you'll find out that as of now, the state of Illinois has not turned on the exposure notifications function. Also, this function is not yet available on the iPad. The new app library makes groupings out of similar applications. Unfortunately, as of now, the default folders cannot be customized. Swipe right to left across the screen and your app library appears. Here's what my apps look like in this new library setup. This feature is unfortunately not yet available on the iPad, but you can see that you have productivity, finance, social, utilities, creativity, health and fitness, travel, and so on already pre-selected for you. Now, widgets are a prominent change in the operating system. You can add a widget to any screen. To add a widget, touch and hold an empty space on a screen. The apps will jiggle and then show a minus sign. On this screen, you touch the plus sign in the upper left-hand corner, and the screen on the right will appear. This screen will contain a list of available widgets. Scroll the screen up or down to view a complete list of the widgets that are available. In this example, on the left screen, I've selected Smart Stack. The middle screen is what comes up with the Smart Stack choice. I clicked Add Widget at the bottom of the screen, and the widget appears on the right screen. You can scroll through the Smart Screen widget and see the other active widgets. Click Done in the upper right-hand corner to end this action. Now, if you swipe from left to right, your individual widgets will appear. Now, there are some individual widgets that are worth exploring. Sticky Widgets is a digital Post-it note. It's available in 3 sizes and multiple different colors. Notice the little microphone in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen? You can talk to your device, and in what you're saying, you can actually dictate to your Post-it note. Widgetsmith is another widget worth investigation. It gives you choices of other apps that you can add to your device. The map apps have a helpful new feature. For example, let's say you want to go to the Apple Store in Woodfield, but don't know where it's now located. In both Apple Maps and Google Maps, swipe and scroll until you get near the Route 53 and I-90 interchange. You should see an outline of Woodfield Mall. Zoom in and you'll find the name and locations of not only the Apple Store, but all of the other stores that are still in business at Woodfield. Now, let's say you're not a fan of Google as your search engine. Well, until now, Apple did not give you an option. Now, in iOS14, you can change your default search engine to another one. Click Setup, then click Safari. On this screen, click on Search Engine on the left, and on the right, you'll see your 4 options: Google, Yahoo, Bing, and DuckDuckGo. You select your choice, and it becomes your automatic search engine in your web browser. Apple has always been strong in giving its users privacy settings. iOS 14 gives you more control. Again, we start by clicking on Settings and then on Privacy. On the next screen, select Location Services. At the top of the middle screen, it tells you what Apple uses to get your location. This screen lists the apps that will want to use your location. You'll see in the middle screen, some of them say while using, some say never, some say ask. I've clicked on Culver's and the app tells me on the right-hand screen that I have selected when using, and yes, it does show the other options. Now you do have the option now of turning off the precise location function. When this is off, it allows the apps to only know your approximate location. Another privacy that got a boost this year and with iOS 14 is tracking. Now here is, and you read for yourself, Apple's definition of tracking. Now, tracking is that function that after you've looked at shoes in the Nike store, you keep seeing ads for Nike shoes at every other page you visit. Now, here's an example of what tracking can do for you. I've selected the Whisper Creek Golf Club here on the next screen. I click on it, and I get the panel on the left, which is the Whisper website. In the upper left-hand corner are two letters A, and I click on that, and it opens the middle screen. I click on Privacy Report there on the middle screen, and on the right screen, it tells me that I found that there are 32 trackers that have attempted to track me because I've used the Whisper Creek website. Now, Apple has added more than 100 new emojis to their library. Now, if you want to use an emoji, or you have to download the library, and to do that, you click on the Settings, General, and then Keyboard. And then on this screen, on the left panel, you click on Keyboard again. The middle panel brings up, well, you click on Add a New Keyboard on the middle panel. You'll be given the emoji icon as an option. Click on that to get to the latest edition of emojis. Then when you want to add an emoji to a document or email, you click on the small globe in the lower left corner of the keyboard, and the library will appear. And you click on the emoji itself to enter it into your document. Now, do you want to know more information, more detailed information on iOS 14? Well, believe it or not, Apple has free items that you can get. And these are the only two free items that I know Apple offers. There are two booklets full of, two big books full of details on iOS 14. Download the book app from the App Store. It's the item boxed in on the left. And then search for iPhone User Guide or iPad User Guide, and make sure you download the iOS 14 version. Alternatively, you can go to the Apple website, apple.com/iOS/iOS 14, and download additional information right from the Apple website. To review, what we've done this morning is we've looked at whether or not the new iOS 14 will work on your tablet or your phone, and how to load it on your device, some of the new features found in 14, and where you can go to get additional information. Hope this presentation has been helpful. And now, Shelley, back to you.
Okay, and yeah, thanks, David. That was a great presentation on the iOS 14 and the iPhone. Now, if any of you have questions on the iPhone or iOS 14, just feel free to unmute yourself right now, and we'll try to answer that for you. So are there questions on David's presentation? Anyone? Yeah, just unmute yourself.
Yeah, is there a way that we can see that again?
Yeah, we're gonna try and get these uploaded to YouTube and have links on our website. So we'll be making an announcement on that as soon as we have that available.
Thank you.
Has anyone experienced the loss of function of the earpiece speaker after iOS 14 upgrade?
Are you talking a Bluetooth
No,
earpiece?
I'm talking about using it as a phone. The earpiece speaker seems to have lost some volume, and going to some message boards, it seems like it's not uncommon.
I've not experienced it or frankly heard about it.
Okay.
I know the volume is easily controlled on the phone itself.
Yes, I've done that. Maybe 14.2 may have corrected it. I'm still at 14.1.
Well, download and find out.
Yep, I will. I'll report back.
What is a widget?
A widget is something back in business school they always talked about, that you sold widgets to people. And it's widget has no particular definition, no meaning. It's just an item and Apple chose widget as, for lack of a better definition, but it's a collection of special little apps that you can put on your device.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else, just unmute yourself and shoot out your questions.
And for everyone's information, to do for information on how to do things, I found Google to be an excellent resource, such as, you know, how do I add a widget to my iPhone, and it'll give you step-by-step instructions. Roseanne, what's your question?
I have two questions. One, if you download 14.2, I like the privacy aspects of it, but I don't like widgets. I think it, anyway, clutters the screen. Are there things that you can get rid of or not basically use? Or do you have to just take certain things with and you're not going to be able to get rid of them?
Okay, widgets are an option. If you don't like them, you just don't install them. And if they do get installed somehow, you simply hold down the icon until it wiggles,
Okay.
and then there's the minus sign in the upper left-hand corner, and you delete it.
Okay, and what's your handle to get into YouTube for a presentation? What do I search on?
Shelley will
For this,
put that information out. Once we get it onto the website or to YouTube, Shelley will put an email out and get it
Okay.
out to you.
Thank you.
Sure.
okay, more questions? Just raise your hand, we'll recognize you, unmute yourself and some of you in the Android world will have noticed some things that you may have been familiar with that are on the iPhone that David talked about. And that's because Apple and Google are always watching what the other one is doing. And if there are features that become popular on Android, well, Apple will adopt them, and vice versa. When you find features on that get introduced that become popular on the iPhone, you can be sure that they'll be added to the Android phone as well. Any other questions? Okay, don't see any more
Nope.
hands going up, or okay, then we'll go on to the next thing we're going to be talking about, which is the Android 11. Okay. So as far as Android 11 is concerned, Android 11 was introduced on September the 8th of this year. Actually had gone through beta, believe it was out in June in beta, and was officially released in September. Just like all of the iPhones get iOS14, or at least the newer ones, the Google has their Google Pixel phone, and on the first day, all the Google Pixel phones did get Android 11, with the exception of the original Pixel and the Pixel XL from 2016. If you have other Android phones, the Asus, the beta version is already out for that. They will be releasing a final release expected sometime this month. HTC, they're usually a little bit behind, so they're expected sometime in March. Huawei, they've been having some issues with with getting recognized in the United States for security reasons, they have they're not using the official Android 11. It's their own version of Android 11. It's expected this month, but there will be some Google apps that you may not be able to get if you're using a Huawei phone. LG, the V60 and the G8, their newest phones, you can expect to get these probably next month, possibly even sooner. Motorola next month. Nokia is expected for some models this month, and the rest will come in the first and second quarter of 2021. OnePlus uses their own version of Android 11 as well. Theirs is called Oxygen OS 11, and it's out already for the OnePlus 8, their newest phone. The OnePlus 7 will be coming next month, and then others will be coming after that. Oppo is out in beta. The final release will be in December for some, and then the rest in the first and second quarter for 2021. Samsung, it's already out in beta for the Galaxy S20 and the Note 20. There's supposed to be a final release this month. Sony, the Xperia 1, the Xperia 5 will be out next month, and the others should be coming shortly after that in 2021. Xiaomi, another Chinese brand, they'll be out for some in November this month, and others coming next year. And ZTE, another Chinese brand, will be out in January. And what you have to realize is that most of these manufacturers, when you purchase your Android phone, and you can expect to get an upgrade to a newer operating system. Usually you can get they'll usually guarantee you 2 or 3 operating system upgrades. So if you bought yours with Android 10, for example, you should be able to expect Android 11 to come out with it. But if you bought yours a number of years ago and it was with Android 7, well, you may not expect to see Android 11 on there. Okay, let's take a look at some of the new features with Android 11. The interesting thing is, when you look at the look and feel of Android 11, it looks and feels just like Android 10. So yeah, there are going to be some new features, but it won't take you very long to feel comfortable with it, because it looks and feels just like it did before. Okay, let's see what else they've done. The notifications, that's the screen you pull down to see what new things are on your phone. And what they've done, instead of just alerting you to the various notifications, they now have added something called conversations. So this might be phone calls or messages, texts, or whatever. And you'll see those in a separate category called conversations. They've also added something, you can see that here at the bottom, something called history. Anyone have problems ever where you've accidentally swiped away a notification and you want to get it back again? Well, now you can. You'll be able to do that just by looking at your history, and you'll see all the notifications that were there, and you can bring those back again. Another thing that they've done is screen recording. Well, you can always do screen recording by just loading an app that'll do any kind of screen recording app that are always available in the Android Play Store. But now Google has its own screen record. All you have to do is pull down your notification bar, and you'll see there's a link you can just press to do a screen recording. So you no longer need a separate app for that. You still, of course, can use a separate app if you prefer it, but this makes it even easier. And all you have to do is tap the screen, and it'll start recording. Another thing they're doing is chat bubbles. If you use Facebook Messenger, you may be familiar with chat bubbles. This is where a chat head comes up on your screen, alerting you to the fact that you've got a message from someone. Here's a little video that shows how that works, and you can then respond to that message and respond back to it and see what you've got. So that's kind of a fun feature that they've now added to Android 11. And this works across all your chat apps. So it's not just the Facebook Messenger, which has its internal one like that. Here's one I like, which is wireless Android Auto. So if you're using Android Auto with your car, and your car supports wireless connections, of course. The Google Pixel phone has had this for quite a long time, but now it's going to be available for all cars that support the feature, as long as you're using Android 11 and with the wireless Android Auto feature. Media player in the notifications. What they've done is, so you can just tap on your phone and pull down the screen, and as you can see here, they actually give you a media player right there. You don't have to open any apps or anything. So if you want to switch between your phone playing and headphones, or your phone and a Bluetooth speaker, for example, all you do is just tap on the phone speaker or a Bluetooth speaker. And you can also, if you've got, let's say, YouTube Music or Spotify or whatever playing, you can get the controls right there to work with your music, and that works with videos as well. So it's whatever media might be playing. Here's a really nice feature. They've enhanced the power button. You used to be able to just hold down the power button and it would say, do you want to power off or restart your phone? Well, now you've got a lot more options to that. Besides power off and restart, well, you also have an emergency where you can quickly get to 911. They also have, if you've got Google Pay or your bank pay card, you have access to that, so you can use your phone very quickly to pay a bill at a store. But the nice thing they've done is they've added all kinds of smart devices. So if you've got smart lamps or a robo vacuum cleaner or a doorbell or a thermostat, anything that's operating off of Google Home, you now have access to that just by tapping your power button on your Android phone. So you can see all of those and immediately get to those. And they've been working with security to enhance the security. You may have seen where you might get a message on your phone that says a particular app is trying to access your location, needs location access or some other type of permission. And sometimes you're not sure what to do with it. Do you want to give it access to that? Do you not want to give it access to that? Well, now they're giving you a little bit more leeway with this, so that, let's say, you've got an app open and it wants to know where you're at, your location access, and, hey, you're looking for a restaurant or something, and yeah, you want to find it, but you don't want to give this app permanent access to this. So now what you can do is you can just give it a one-time access. You could say, only this time, here's the permission we'll give you. Or you can also have, there's another option that says, only when this app is open, while using this app, you can give it permission. So they have been enhancing the security that way. And then another thing they've done is if you haven't used an app in a long time, it's on your phone, it'll automatically revoke its permissions. So the next time you open that app, it'll ask you again, do you want this permission either this time while using the app or not at all? So you have a little bit more security that way and a little bit more flexibility. Dark theme is something that was introduced some time ago, but now they're giving you a little bit more flexibility with this as well, so that rather than just turning on dark theme, dark theme is where you have white on black rather than black on white. So you can do this. Let's say you only wanted to do this at night. Well, you can turn it on from sunset to sunrise, or maybe you want it to start at a particular time. You can turn it on at a specific time, or you can not have dark theme, or you can have it on all the time. It's whatever you prefer. So you have a little bit more flexibility. Sharing. Yeah, this is an interesting one. Sometimes when you're using, let's say, Google Photos or Google Maps, and you want, or just a browser, and you want to share something with someone, either by mail or you want to send a text message. Every one of the apps has a different share menu. So it gets a little confusing sometimes. You're looking for, where's the app that I want to use to text this to somebody. So now what they're doing is they're letting you pin your favorite apps to the top of the list. So that makes it a little simpler. You can get this across all different apps. So this is a nice handy feature to have. And emojis. Well, everybody likes these emojis. So of course, David talked about that with the iPhone, and Google has these as well. They've introduced 117 new emojis, and these are all the 117. So you can see some of these on here. So you have some more fun emojis to work with. And in addition to that, they've taken a lot of the older apps, emojis rather, and they've changed over 2,000 of the old emojis have been changed. So in particular, you see a lot of different animal emojis here, and these change from year to year. For example, this turtle one that they have here, they've changed the turtle emoji a number of times. And people kept saying, oh, I like the old turtle one better than the newer ones. So guess what? They went back to the old turtle emoji because it was so popular. So you now have that back again. And there's also if you're using a lower end phone, you're not left out from Android 11. They have a new special edition of Android 11 for the lower end phone. So if the phone has less than 2 gig or less of memory in it, this version is called Android 11 Go. So you may see that on some of the newer phones that are not your mid or high end phones. You can still get Android 11. Okay, so with that, we'll take questions on any of these things that we've talked about. So questions, just unmute yourself and shoot out your questions.
Hi, this is Darlene Rutledge. I have one for David. You mentioned that little book on on, on your iPad or iPhone.
Yes.
I must have deleted that. How do I get it back?
Okay. Do you have the book app on your device?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't have that
Okay.
little thing that looks like pages.
Right. Then go to the App Store
Hmm.
and search for the book. Just they call it book. And then you download it. It is free. And then you can search that app.
Yeah, I see it. Okay. I got the app now. All right.
Then once you open the app, there's a magnifying glass, which is their search icon,
Mhm.
and then just type in iOS14.
Okay. All righty. Thank you.
Sure, that was easy.
I have a question for Shelley once all the questions are asked, an unrelated one. But about Zoom.
Okay, anyone else? Is that a question? Do we see more questions? Yeah, just unmute yourself and feel free to just shout out a question.
Shelley, I'd like to thank you and Dave for great presentations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Darlene, you had a question?
Yes, Shelley, I see your beautiful background, and I have lots of backgrounds, but when I use them, I'm fuzzy if I move. Or if I move my hand, can you move your hand up? Oh, I can't see. Do your other hand. Yeah, yours is great. Why is that? Mine would be weird.
Yeah, it depends on the upload speed that you have on with your internet, and also it depends on the distance you are from the screen. So you'll find if you move in or out, because the way this thing works is the background is hiding everything behind you, so it has to differentiate between what's in the foreground and what's in the background. So if, for example, I move my chair back, eventually, I'm going to start disappearing.
Yeah, that's the way I am.
Yeah,
but
you're going to have to
I'm
play with
close.
the distance. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Is that a
if
free
you've got an
background?
animated one, that might be, it's more of a problem, I think, with the animated ones like George is using right now. The one I'm using is not an animated one, so that you might find that if you're having a problem with those ones that where it's almost like a video, an animated thing, that you may want to use just a still photo.
Yeah, no, mine are all still. But I use my hands a lot because I'm showing, Mary Kay products and stuff. And when I do, it's real, like it's just real fuzzy, or I don't know how to describe it.
Sure. Okay, we have any other questions on anything?
Yes, I have a question for
Sure.
David.
Yes.
We have a couple of iPads, and they're about 5 or 6 years old, and I'm starting to notice that a lot of the things I do is no longer supported. And I just checked, based on what you told us, I just checked my system, and it's a 9.3.5 the operating system.
Yep.
And I went to upgrade it, and it says 9.3.5 is up to date.
Yep.
No, it isn't.
Well, it's up to date for the model of tablet that you have. As they have introduced new tablets over the years, they've stopped supporting the older tablets, and that means that they've stopped upgrading functions in the operating system. Like a faster CPU chip in the new tablets can handle things that your tablet can't do.
I understand that. Okay.
So, you're to the point now, particularly with one that's stuck at 9 point something. I'm sorry, you're going to have to buy a new one.
That's on the agenda. All right. Thanks very much. You confirmed
Sure.
what I thought.
Not a problem.
Anyone else? How many of you folks are iPhone people? Raise your hands. And how many are Android people? Okay, we've got a few people who dropped off so far, but yeah, and for those of you who saw the video, did you enjoy that video on deciding whether you're an Android person or an iPhone person?
Yeah.
Okay, if there are no more questions or anything, you can feel free to schmooze about anything, or this will be it as far as our official meeting. And we'll see you all next month for our December meeting. And, we do have a class coming up, as Ralph mentioned, coming up next week. And we always have our Monday morning virtual labs. So hope you all enjoyed our virtual monthly meeting, and wish you all a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you very much.
Have a good one.
Take care.
Okay, take care, everyone.